He never thought kindness would change his life. Not in a world where every day felt like a battle just to keep going. James Carter, a single father with tired eyes and calloused hands, had learned to live with the weight of struggle. Every morning began before dawn with the sound of an old alarm clock and the quiet breath of his little girl sleeping in the next room. She was his reason for everything, Lily, 6 years old, full of light, the only spark that made the greyness of his days feel bearable. James worked long hours at a small auto shop on the edge of town. It wasn't much, but it paid enough to keep food on the table and the lights from going out. Most nights, he came home sore and silent, sitting at the kitchen table while Lily colored pictures beside him, asking when they could go to the park again or if they'd ever have a car that didn't break down. He'd smile, even when his heart ached, because she deserved hope, even if he didn't always have it himself. That day began like any other, clouds hanging low, a chill in the air, and James thinking about how to stretch his last few dollars until payday. He dropped Lily off at her neighbor's before heading to the shop, where his boss greeted him with the same gruff nod and another pile of work orders. Hours passed, oil and grease staining his hands, until the afternoon sun started to fade. He clocked out late, as usual, and started the walk home. He didn't own a car anymore. His old pickup had died months ago, and he couldn't afford the repairs. The road was quiet, lined with oak trees turning golden with autumn. James was thinking about what to cook for dinner when he heard the sound of a car sputtering, then dying. Ahead, a red Mustang had rolled to a stop on the side of the road. Steam curled from under the hood. A woman stepped out, frustration written across her face, glancing at her phone, then at the smoking engine. James hesitated for only a second. He could have kept walking. He had nothing left to give and helping. Strangers never filled his wallet, but something inside him, the part that refused to harden, wouldn't let him pass by. "Need a hand?" he asked, approaching slowly. The woman looked up, her eyes filled with a mix of relief and embarrassment. "I think it just died on me," she said softly. "I don't know what happened. It was running fine, then it started smoking." James nodded, rolling up his sleeves. "Mind if I take a look?" She stepped aside, watching as he opened the hood, his experienced hands moving with quiet confidence. It didn't take long for him to diagnose the issue: a cracked hose. A small problem, but enough to shut the car down. He didn't have tools with him, but he managed to patch it temporarily, just enough to get her to a nearby station. She thanked him again and again, offering him cash for his time. He refused. "You don't owe me anything," he said, smiling faintly. "Just glad I could help." She tried insisting, but he shook his head. "I know what it's like to be stuck." As she drove off, James felt the cold creeping in, but something warm lingered inside him. He didn't know her name, and he didn't expect to see her again. To him, it was just another small act of kindness in a world that rarely returned it. But the world, it seemed, had been watching. 2 days later, while James was wiping down the counters at the shop, a sleek black SUV pulled up outside. A woman stepped out, dressed in a tailored coat, confidence in every step. It took him a moment to recognize her was the woman from the Mustang. She smiled when she saw him, holding a folder in her hands. "You're not easy to track down," she said. James blinked, confused. "I didn't expect to see you again." She laughed softly. "I didn't expect to meet someone like you. You helped me when you didn't have to. You didn't take money. You didn't ask for anything. That doesn't happen often." She paused, then handed him the folder. "I want to offer you something." Inside was an envelope, documents, a job offer, A letter. James stared, his heart pounding. The letter explained everything. Her name was Evelyn Rhodes, CEO of a billion-dollar automotive company. The Mustang he'd fixed wasn't just any Corvette, was a prototype she'd been test driving under the radar. She'd wanted to see how people treated her when they didn't know who she was. And James, without hesitation or expectation, had shown her something she hadn't seen in a long time: pure kindness. "I run a foundation," she explained. "We support hard-working parents who've fallen on tough times. You fit that more than anyone I've met. I'd like to offer you a position in our program training, a stable job, full benefits, and..." She hesitated, her eyes softening. "I'd like to sponsor your daughter's education. She deserves a chance to dream big." James stood frozen, words caught in his throat. For years he had fought alone, believing the world had forgotten him. And now, out of nowhere, a door had opened. Door built by compassion, returning to him when he least expected it. He tried to protest, but Evelyn simply smiled. "You earned this," she said gently. "Not because you asked for help, but because you gave it." That night, James held Lily close as he told her the news. Her eyes widened with wonder, her small voice whispering, "Does that mean things are going to be okay?" He nodded, tears filling his eyes. "Yeah, sweetheart. I think they finally are." In the months that followed, James's life transformed. He trained at Evelyn's company, rising quickly with his skill and dedication. He bought a small car, then a modest home where Lily had her own room painted the color of her dreams. Every morning, as he drove to work, he thought about that day on the side of the road, the day he chose kindness over convenience, humanity over hesitation. Sometimes Evelyn would visit the workshop, watching quietly as James worked, a knowing smile on her face. She often said it reminded her that success wasn't just measured in numbers, but in the moments we choose to be good when no one's watching. And James, he never forgot. Because in helping a stranger, he had unknowingly changed his own destiny. Life, he realized, has a way of coming full circle. Kindness, given, always finds its way back, often in ways we can't imagine. So if you ever find yourself on the road, tired, uncertain, wondering if what you do matters, remember James. Remember the father who stopped to help, expecting nothing, and found everything. Because sometimes the smallest act of grace can open the door to miracles.